December 5th was the single worst night of my life. When I went to sleep that night, it seemed like any other night. I woke up maybe after an hour though, and I knew immediately that something wasn't quite right. Found that my then 13-year-old child Oliver was missing from his bed. I woke up my wife, and then I went outside and began calling his name. He didn't respond. I went to the front of the RV, getting increasingly frantic, and then I heard a sound I'll never forget, this choking sound. I turned around and I found Oliver had hung himself, but he was alive. I ran over to him and got him out of the noose, and we collapsed to the ground. Something like that just kind of tears the wool away from your eyes, and it just wakes you up to outcomes that you never really thought could happen. You know, I never dreamed that my kid would ever do something like that. We got Oliver to a safe place. We got him to the adolescent mental health facility up in Provo, and got him the help that he really badly needed, and that continues to this day. And I developed full-blown symptoms of PTSD. I began to have flashbacks dozens, maybe even hundreds of times every day. I still get flashbacks, you know, not as many as I used to, but I feel lost, and I still get crushed by the weight of my failure as a parent. I mean, I let my kid down. I didn't look deeply enough, and I failed him. And when I have flashbacks, I remember exactly how it felt, like this surge of adrenaline just courses through my body. And I just feel that same agony of knowing that my child had genuinely wanted to die. He didn't want to live. He wasn't trying to get attention. He just didn't want to be here anymore. So 17 years before that awful night, I had started climbing mountains. And I just kind of climbed my first mountain just on a whim almost. And after that, though, I was like completely hooked. Climbing gave me a purpose and a direction in life that I lacked. And after Oliver's suicide attempt, it became even more important. It really became my salvation, my therapy, my way out of the pain. You know, when you climb, you have to be completely and utterly focused. You have to know exactly where every hand and foothold is. You have to drive out all distractions and just zero in on what you're doing. You know, you kind of enter this Zen-like state where, you know, all of the problems of the regular world just kind of disappear. And, you know, for me, you know, it's healed some really deep wounds, and it allows me still to escape, you know, even just for a short time, the pain of that night. The thing about PTSD is that it is a lifelong affliction. It doesn't matter if you've developed it through combat or being in a car accident or seeing a loved one in the midst of a suicide attempt. And you have to find ways to cope. You have to find ways to leave behind that trauma, even if it's just for a little while. You know, and for me, climbing is that escape, you know, and I'll continue to do it as long as I have the strength and will to do so. Someday, I'm not going to be able to climb. You know, until that day comes, you'll find me out there on the rocks and in the mountains, you know, just pushing myself as hard as I can, you know, because that's all I've got.